Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, episode 69.
I'm not wooing that.
I'm Chris, and joining me today are...
Ames.
Caitlin.
And Jake.
Jake is on his phone.
I was just setting it as silent, so the Silence Has Lease.
So we can
As was just foreshadowed, I guess?
foreskin shadows.
Today we are...
69.
There you go, Ames. That's the spirit.
Today we are looking at The Child and Where Silence Has Lease. What?
Where?
Will Wheaton?
Yeah, I just
Where?
kind of wanted to overdo
When?
it because it's...
Because it's an overdone episode?
It's all, yeah. In The Child, Deanna Troi has a space baby while the ship is transporting samples of plasma plague, which is just like, what? And really, the two plots have nothing to do with each other until it turns out the space baby is giving off dickhead radiation, which is causing stuff, and it's not good. It is not good at all.
The stuff or the episode?
Yes.
Yes.
In Where Silence Has Lease.
Where?
What?
The Enterprise finds a bit of space that doesn't make sense.
Space amoeba?
Yeah, exactly.
I said that
I was
too.
thinking that as well. They get sucked into it because Wesley said, let's get closer. Thanks, Wes.
As you pointed out, that is why they're in space.
They are in
To
space.
throw Wes into a black hole?
To explore, yes.
It's actually
But,
an alien's anus.
true.
What would
And-
what kind of eye would that be?
It's a
Black eye.
black eye?
Give you a black eye.
Speaking of black
I think
eyes,
it's-
who was that guy at the helm when Wesley went away?
Was being the active word.
Yes.
Anyway, go on, Chris. Anyway, go on, Chris.
So, yeah, they get sucked into the thing. Weird stuff happens. When they move, they end up looping back on themselves. And eventually they realize this is all some sort of test by a big space face. And eventually it lets them go after murdering some innocent black guy. And also they threaten to blow up the ship again. And that's
What they
it.
do. Well,
So The Child was hot, flaming garbage of awful.
Yep.
before we dive in, there's a bunch of changes. This is season 2.
This is
Oh, yes,
season
yes.
two.
Ooh.
I wanted to go over a list of the things that I noticed
Okay.
were
You
different.
did you take notes?
I took notes on the things
Wait,
that were
I didn't even
different.
notice you
Can I
taking
just say
notes.
one so that I get a chance? Because you're going to name
Okay,
everything.
alright, that's fine. Do it.
Okay. Jordy is in yellow now.
Also, Worf is in yellow.
Yep.
And Wesley has a much nicer uniform.
He has
The gray onesie, as I dubbed
It's like a
it.
sweater uniform and a all silver pin. I don't know
Yeah.
if I said that last time, but
Yeah, at first I thought it was like a trick of the light. But it's like, no, he has a bespoke
you
com
don't go
badge.
gold until you get on there. But yeah, so in addition to Worf and Geordi getting yellow shirts, Riker got a beard.
Yep.
Yep.
Troi got a maroon costume.
No, I don't really judge her costumes because
Well, it's the
it
first
is
we
it
saw
is
it.
true. It is a new costume.
And Crusher got a clue and got the fuck out.
Yeah, Crusher got fired, and we've hired Dr. Pulaski. First appearance of Guinan,
Yep.
the bartender. Also the first appearance of 10 Forward, where
Yep.
she works.
Yep.
We've seen 10 Forward before, though, in Star Trek 6.
Yes. I think we talked about that on the episode, yeah.
But that hasn't happened yet.
That hasn't happened yet. We
Except
get
it
the return
has.
of O'Brien in the transporter room.
He still doesn't have a name, does he?
No.
Transporter chief?
Mr. Transporter.
And it seems like they let go of good old Argyle.
Yeah, Argyle. Yeah. Well,
Gone.
Geordi got his promotion. He's chief engineer.
Yep, they
Well,
fired
we'll-
all 4 other chief engineers.
Well, we'll see him in Shades of Grey again.
They did some upgrades on the bridge. They replaced the laid-back lounge chairs with actual chairs that swivel.
Ooh.
At
Oh,
Helen Ops.
so
Yeah.
Wes doesn't have to look over his shoulder at you whenever he's thinking something really hard.
Mm-hmm. They added TVs to the conference room on the wall. We can
So they
check
can
shit
play
out on TV.
Overwatch?
Watch the sports ball.
It looked like sickbay. I couldn't tell exactly, but sickbay seemed to get a new area that wasn't there before. And Worf got a new head.
I wondered if there was something different going on there.
It's less bulbous.
Especially in What episode was it, though, where I was, like, pissy about his hair? The second one?
Probably where Silence Has Lease.
The second one, yeah.
Because that's where they have an adventure in the holodeck, but we'll get to that.
Yes. Also, I think, did they change Picard's chair a little bit?
Yes, they did. He no longer has the things that flip up.
Right.
They're like he's got like permanent little consoles.
Yeah, and I think they
there.
had little lights, maybe.
Yeah, and the chair, and I think they also changed not the Riker and Troy's chairs, but the two little chairs on the side. I think those are more like a little bench now.
Oh, okay.
They were very benchy before.
I think it's a different bench.
The one note I took about differences this season was the Riker beard, because Roddenberry had apparently polled a convention crowd to ask if he should keep it or not, because Jonathan Frakes said, "Oh, I'll just shave it off when we start filming," and they're like, "Hang on, crowd, what do you think?" And they're like, "Whoa! I'd put my face on that," and they did.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we met Lieutenant Harry Mann, asleep in his bed.
Yes, that was a hairy man.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was like, why are they taking this, like,
They're just showing
accentuate his really bushy old man chest hair shot? I was like, ooh.
Lightball did not care for it and went straight away.
Yeah, Lightball's like, I'm not going in there.
I'll never find my way out.
That's true.
All right, anyway, we can get back to the episode.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Yeah, can we talk about anything else?
No, this is another unfortunate side effect of that Writers Guild strike, in that they just said, "Oh crap, this stupid thing is still happening. What if we got in the archives from Phase 2? And in Phase 2 there was this episode where it would have been Ilea that had gotten mysteriously space knocked up. The glowy ball would have passed over Chekhov and Uhura before picking her, because I kind of want to see.
I was gonna say I want to see the episode where Chekhov is pregnant.
So basically, Lieutenant Harry Mann was a stand-in for Chekhov here.
That could have been Chekhov.
I don't even have a vagina.
And the child thing, whatever. The child thing would have realized that, in order to save the ship from something that was happening, he would just transport himself into a light outside the ship and turn himself into a higher being. Instead of just dying in Troi's arms.
Like a Force ghost?
I don't know.
I mean,
it was kind of a Force ghost already.
With a Force ghost, we see them ever again. But we will never see this boy again.
That's
God.
Hear about it.
For the best.
And Troi has forgotten it completely.
By the end of this episode.
By the end of the episode.
Well, it's, and if a doctor examines her, they would have never known she'd ever been pregnant or given birth.
Yeah, Riker checked that vagina himself.
I was going to say, so after she had the baby, they gave her the, what is it called? The husband stitch?
What?
You guys have you heard of this?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's called the husband stitch.
The husband stitch?
So back in the day...
I'm already horrified.
I know,
you should be.
bad.
Back in the day, after a woman gave birth, they would, put in one... so there's a part of the female anatomy that pretty regularly tears during childbirth.
Vagina?
It's sort of between the vagina and the bee.
Oh, the taint.
Yeah, well, basically.
Lady
and
taint.
sometimes it would rip during childbirth.
That's what happens
So-
after you poop yourself.
So doctors would start cutting it almost all the time just to, you should feel uncomfortable.
Oh!
I'm the one with a vagina. And then what they would do is...
Cement that thing off.
Yeah, they would but they would sew it up, and sometimes they would put it in an extra stitch, to bring her back to her snug, tight-fitting womanhood.
But vaginas bounce back after a little while.
No. We're gonna give it the husband
It's
stitch.
a whole baby going through there.
Yeah, but they bounce back. The whole point of a vagina is to bounce back.
I think that...
Yeah, but it's like a rubber band. Eventually, it's just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
But anyway, I don't think they do it anymore. I don't know if I'm
They fucking better not!
No, I mean I think they do, but I think they do.
I mean, if it tears, you want to fix it.
Well, yes, but
It's the extra stitch.
This is a really disturbing
Why are
conversation.
people
It's a
having
really awful
vaginas
episode.
birth? It seems like cesarean.
Well,
Yeah,
right?
but no.
the thing about
Put them in a
cesarean
fucking
is-
jar, grow them that way.
Yes.
The thing about a cesarean is that in order to get through there, you have to cut through all of the muscle, which means
abdominal
a
muscle.
much longer recovery period for mom, a lot less independence.
And now
All the better to get her pregnant, barefoot, back in the kitchen as soon as possible.
and now every
Fair
birth
enough.
you have in the future has to be cesarean
Well, listen,
as well.
I'm gonna have...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's not always,
Really?
but mostly always.
Well,
Yeah.
as a man, I believe that this is best for women.
We'll just pop open with the babies in there,
Well,
hey.
I mean,
I think
That's a risque.
it's really all it takes. So
I think Ames has it. Just once it's fertilized, get it out, stick it in the tube.
I think they've actually made a lot of progress in being able to do that.
Exactly. I think that's just what we should do.
Artificial wombs.
You know, I mean, I'm sorry, pregnancy fetishists, but no.
Well, I mean, they'll still find a way around it.
Yeah.
But that's like, that feels so fucked up to me. Like, want a kid, but not all the inconveniences of pregnancy.
But still the
Want a
inconvenience
kid-
of
yeah.
having a kid.
Want a kid, but want to drink constantly?
But don't want to adopt.
Why would that stop me?
Eh.
Just 8 months pregnant, fucking drinking straight out of a fucking bottle of 151, chain smoking cigarettes. Like,
Standing
I
with
can't
your-
wait to have this baby. I've been really taking it easy
I
lately.
mean, I'm pretty sure that's what Barbara did all throughout GW's gestation.
Here's the thing: everybody used to smoke and drink when they were pregnant. They didn't know that shit wasn't all right.
That's how they roll. Do you ever see there was I haven't seen it in years. There's like an old-timey meme photo on the internet that was like, it was like a clipping from a newspaper, and it said, so-and-so is, concerned about the effects of the jackhammering noises on her unborn child, and it was...
Jackhammering?
Yeah,
What,
'cause it was-
from getting plowed?
No, because it was like, she was concerned about like construction in the neighborhood, and she thought the loud noise from the jackhammers would affect her unborn child, and then the picture was a very pregnant lady with a cigarette.
And her pregnant belly has some earmuffs on it or something?
So, yeah, this episode, man.
Well, we made our best effort not to actually have to talk about it.
It
Talk
is.
about some stuff already.
It is phenomenally awful, and I'm conflicted in a lot of ways, sort of, because, you kind of have this scene, which is almost...
Which scene?
clever, where they're all in the conference room, and all the men and maybe Pulaski are shouting at one another about what Deanna should be doing.
Yep.
And then the minute she's like, here's what we're doing, Picard's like, all right then. That is sort of normally would be very laudable.
Well, it felt
But
like
this
we were
is
outside a Planned Parenthood.
But this is so like... The problem is she is way too chill with what has happened to her.
Well, she can feel the baby because she's an empath.
I know, but
and realize it doesn't want. It's not like a time bomb or anything. I can sense that it's just a being.
But there's also, like, by the same nature, there's no discussion around the fact that the pregnancy itself is completely non-consensual to begin with.
No.
Like, she agrees.
That was really, really uncomfortable.
After-
Watching her wake up like,
Yeah.
fuck. Ah, man!
Yeah. So it's like, on the one hand, the scene where it's just like, all right, your body, your choice, and Picard's like, this is what we're doing. On the other hand, there's no discussion of, like, if we could have just dropped the whole plasma plague, which sounds like something from the worst 50s children's show.
But it did allow us to have Geordi present us a better PowerPoint than Chekhov did. These are how the plasma plague will be contained. And if you go to the next slide, click.
Yeah. If the whole thing could have turned into just sort of discussing with the creature its wants, its needs, and trying to make it understand that what it had done initially wasn't the best way to go about it, and...
But then there'd be more child acting.
Well, see, in my version, it grows up a lot faster, and this discussion happens when it's 25 and maybe hot. And, like...
I'd be down with that.
He sits down with Troi, and it's like, Mother, a lot of the women on the ship are looking at me strangely, and, some of the men, and...
Definitely Geordi.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm uncomfortable. Why are we macking on this 2-day-old baby?
Well, that's the other thing. Then there's the whole issue of they don't know who he is, and it's this and that. It was a bad episode, and there's very little attempt to fix it, but it's all I can manage.
But hey, at least Worf jumped right on the abortion bandwagon.
It's true. No question. Just like...
I mean, his reasoning is, we don't know what the fuck this thing is. It could have, ill intent for us.
Do you love how everyone acted like he was a fucking asshole because he wanted to have someone in the fucking delivery room?
Oh, yeah.
Pulaski's like, stay the fuck out of the way.
What do we think of Pulaski
Oh,
so far?
I wanted to like her. I really
Me too,
did.
because I really like Diana Muldaur.
Well, for me, it was like, I feel like, I guess it was you, I feel like it was probably you people. Saying,
Us people? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by you people?
The other people on this podcast.
Yeah, we're assholes.
I feel like Chris and or Jake, or maybe Jake and or Chris was saying that, like, they kind of felt like she was going to be like the kind of hard-boiled Dr. McCoy type of thing. So I was like, okay, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready for Lady McCoy. This is going to be great. And then she called Data and was a cunt about it. And I was like, you used to be cute.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
she's still pretty.
They were clearly trying to do, like, her relationship with Data, try to make it like
Bones'
McCoy's
relationship with space.
But here's the thing. I like that. The issue is that Pulaski doesn't have the charm. Like, you could see McCoy, whenever McCoy would rib on Spock, that he would...
For his pleasure?
Exactly, for both their pleasure. And mine.
And mine.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you, Ames.
That he was doing it, like, purely, like, jovially and good-naturedly.
Yeah, it was coming from...
Pulaski just doesn't fucking get it.
Yeah, like, McCoy, it came from a place of friendship. Pulaski, yes, genuinely is creeped out by Data.
Which is unfortunate, because if she's not aware, like, she doesn't think of him as a human being, and I say, like, if you knew what Tasha Yar knew, but she did. Yeah,
you're right. Like, I feel like, the whole thing, like, we look at it's like how freaked out she's about having security men in the room. I feel like that same scene with McCoy, he would have done it in a way that was more sort of charming and fun,
Or at least would have been more southern
with
and therefore
eyebrow.
charming.
Yeah.
Yes, oh my god, so much eyebrow at the security team.
Well, I think the problem right now is that she is entirely unlikable.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing there to be like, oh yeah, I like this character.
Oh, she's kind of cantankerous, but we like her. She comes from a good place.
Nobody, she doesn't get along really with Picard at first. He's pissed off that she didn't report for duty.
Well, it's because he was jumping to conclusions.
But yeah, I just don't think she gives us a reason to like her yet, or if she ever will. And it's interesting because despite the fact,
he forgets her name, too.
Yeah, I'm forgetting the other one's name. What's the other one? Crusher.
I hardly know her. Acha-cha.
Crusher may have been pretty weakly written, but at least she was a likable character. For the most part.
Yeah, she was a bad doctor, but...
But so was Bones.
Yeah, Bones is pretty bad. I don't know that I ever was on board for, like, really liking Crusher that much. I was just kind of like, you're here. I mean, I liked her more than I like Pulaski, but, I mean, that's like saying I like asparagus better than
poison
eating dog shit. Like,
I will say, she currently...
I do like asparagus.
I don't like asparagus.
No.
Pulaski does get a better uniform than anyone on the ship. Because she's actually got, like, a proper, like, shirt that isn't unpleasant and clingy and weird.
I wasn't even looking.
Yeah, no, she has, like, an individual, like...
It's because you were doing what I was doing. You were too busy squinting at her to see if you could kind of see McCoy in her face. That's what I was doing the whole time. Like,
but yeah, no, she actually has, like, sort of an... Like, because everyone else has the unpleasant, clingy jumpsuit. She has, like, trousers and some kind of jacket, shirt, tunic thing.
I'm glad you mentioned the unpleasant, clingy jumpsuit, because I never noticed this before, but I was watching Riker, like, slouch around the bridge during these episodes, and I was like, his shit is so loose. He looks like he's just fucking pajamaing around. Like, just fucking, I woke up this way, bitch, but, like, really.
It looked like he was having a fat day and needed the shirtle in a couple of scenes.
The shirtle!
And I don't think Riker's, like, chubby or anything.
Not at this point.
Why don't we have a shirtle? Why has there been no TNG shirtle?
Because Picard is very small.
He does
except
eventually...
for those weird...
He gets a cool, like, bomber jacket at one point, which is pretty nice.
Now, what
Standard
do you guys...
issue, or...?
It's a Starfleet thing.
Yeah.
No shit.
What do you guys might know? I know, wasn't, like, the reason that Riker did his weird sit, and also the reason he tended to lean and sort of slouch a lot?
Stick his leg
Didn't
up
he have a bad back or
Yeah,
something?
he had some kind of a back injury that made sitting down like a normal human being, like, uncomfortable for him.
Which is why we have the Riker
I think he
maneuver.
also just had sticky screw.
Yikes.
Or, like, something really big in his bum. I'm going for really a gigantic plug.
I was going because he always does the thing where he, like, puts his leg, or he, like,
up
steps
and,
up on the thing. I'm just assuming, like, he was sweaty and his balls were sticky and
there was just that sound as the scrotum detached from the leg.
Like one time he's like, man, I gotta get some seporation. So he puts his leg up, and then the director's like, that's cool. Keep doing that. The director's like, all right.
It makes you look powerful.
Meanwhile, poor not LeVar Burton, poor Brent Spiner, who was next to him when the separation
every time it
happened.
happens, there's a whiff. It's like,
Well, yeah, because you said that these uniforms were infamously schmelly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oofda.
Yeah. I think they always were, but I think the first 2 seasons ones were
Well, yeah,
really bad.
Then they replaced them with wool, which I'm sure under TV lights.
Yeah,
was
still
delightful.
Can you imagine some poor costume person, wardrobe assistant at some point throws all of them in the dryer, they come out, they look like little baby onesies. She's like, son of a bitch!
Maybe that's actually why there's new uniforms starting in season 3.
Well, I meant the wool ones, since wool
yeah.
is a shrinky-dink mess.
This episode did have one highlight.
Oh.
An entire scene with puppies.
Oh, I thought you meant that the kid died at the end.
Well, there's that. There's also that. They should have shot him into a fucking sun. But I mean, I'm fairly certain that was the kid's purpose on the ship because, he says, like, oh, I wanted to experience, your people and what it's like to be born among you and do the thing.
He really just
and
wanted
puppies.
to see puppies.
I just wanted to see your puppies.
They were so cute. What kind of dogs are they? Because they looked like they might have
golden
been
labs.
labs. There's no such thing as a golden lab.
Yellow lab.
Yellow lab, golden retriever.
Aren't they the same thing?
They are not.
Oh.
They're different breeds of dog.
Yes, but also they looked like they were a mix. I'm not sure that I was convinced that they were straight lab because I feel like they looked like they might have a little bit of wiry hair, but that might have just been my imagination.
I thought they were dogs.
I was too busy squeeing because there were puppies.
They were so cute.
And they were very cute,
They
and
were
that child
really
did not deserve them.
I wanted to be buried in those puppies.
Squeaming? Squeaming?
Squeeing.
Squeeing.
Squeam.
I was squeaming.
Squeaming. What's a squeeing?
Squee. Like a cute, like a
Making cute
excited
noises, yeah.
noise.
I think
Because-
I squeed in my pants.
Yikes. I did
That could
too.
mean a lot of things.
I mean, I know, it's squeeing sounds kind of gross.
well,
If you're doing it right, it is.
So yeah, how much did that child suck?
it was probably onto solid foods pretty quickly, so...
I know, if you're gonna have a baby, that's kind of the way to go if it grows up in a day.
Yeah.
No. See, my thing with it, here's my thing with children, right? When they're babies and they're someone else's, they're cute. Once
disagree.
they can walk and talk,
Disagree.
I lose interest until they're like 25.
See, I'm not interested in babies. I'm repulsed by children.
Yeah.
And I'm annoyed by anything under the age of like 25.
It's like 25, and even that's a little too young, but...
Repulsed by children.
Because that's when they can talk and get to you.
Oh, I hate
and
when they can
move.
talk. As soon as they can talk, it's over. I'm just
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Like, once they can get around on their own and can speak, I lose all interest.
Once they think they're intelligent.
Yeah.
Once they think they're smarter than you.
Oh my god, and when they learn kind of how humor works,
Oh, no.
and they try to be funny,
Oh.
I just tell them to shut the fuck up.
do you?
Yeah, we do
That's
do this
harsh.
to Jake's cousin a lot.
Yeah, I'm
it's
pretty
the
sure
running
I'm
joke.
pretty sure I'm ruining his brain.
You've given your cousin a fucking complex.
Complex.
I mean,
Yeah, you
he's
destroyed
had a
his-
tough life as it is, and I'm not making it any
No.
better.
Wow, you're a monster.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad. Poor kid.
That's
He's
an
a jerk, so fuck him.
Some kids are alright. I prefer to avoid them.
Oh god, they showed like birth stuff happening.
God, the fucking umbilical cord!
That stuff was
I
more
squeed
graphic
all
than
over
the
the place
stuff
for that
from
one.
Conspiracy. And if there was concern that, oh no, watching a guy's head explode in Conspiracy is going to hurt little kids' heads, brains, and eyes, this is like 20 times worse.
Oh god.
And there's a baby ass, and I just, no. It shouldn't be
Miracle
okay to
of
show
life.
baby
It's
asses.
a miracle of life.
Dude, two things.
It looked like a grouper fish.
The fucking... Okay, I know... Okay, actually, you guys probably will agree with me. I hate ultrasounds. I think they're disgusting. Babies look like little fucking alien goldfish
they kind
monsters.
of are at that age.
And then they're born, and there's all this shit happening, and...
Poop, tearing.
Did you guys ever watch The Miracle of Life when you were in, like...
I didn't have
middle
to, no.
school-ish?
I went to Catholic school. They wouldn't show that kind. I had to
They
go
didn't even
home.
tell you where babies come
I had
from,
to
did
go
they?
home after our, how the reproductive system worked, when they took the girls in one room and the boys in another room and taught us the different things.
Oh,
I
my
went
school
home.
did that too.
I went home and I was looking confused. And my mother joins me on my bed and she says, "Hey, what's going on? Why do you, how was school today?" And I tell her, "They were telling us where babies come from today, and I don't get it. How does the sperm get to the egg?" And my mother, with this look of, "Oh, god damn it, Catholic school," tells to me, "They put the penis in the vagina." I'm like, oh.
They put the penis in the vagina. That's such a great way of explaining it.
I mean, it is.
Just like you take it off. Here, honey, here's my penis. Put it in your vagina. Bring it back when you're done.
How long do you have to leave it in for?
I'll be playing video games.
I know, it brings up so many more questions, but I was not at a stage for that yet. So I'm like, okay, check. I figured out that part. Now they tried to give me pads and tampons in 5th grade, and I left them in the school, so I am done with this until I need it.
I was such an early bloomer that I think I had my period before I actually knew what a period was.
Oh, that sucks.
And it didn't really bother me. I know a lot of people freak out and like think they're dying. I was just kind of like, which I think basically was like the perfect basis for like the rest of my living my health life as a man and just being like, it's probably fine.
Oh no, my pants.
Yeah, I was like, Grandma, something's going on. And she was great, so excited about it. She's like, you're a woman. Let me get you some pads. And I was just like, so this is normal?
Oh god.
All right, great.
What a horrible time of life.
And also,
luckily Wesley will never hit it.
This now makes me think too of the one time my dad tried to have like kind of a sex talk with me one time. When I was a freshman in high school, I was friends with like mostly seniors, and most of them were guys because I used to be a pretty big tomboy, and most of my friends were dudes. So my dad's dropping me off to my friend's birthday party, and we're like outside in the car, and he looks over at me, and I look over at him, and he's like, so, listen, you have a lot of friends who are older, and eventually you're gonna want to have sex, and when you do, use a condom. And I said,
yeah, I know.
Okay, Dad. Thanks. And then I went into the party and was just kind of like...
Whip out all the condoms.
Yeah. I was like, who wants to fuck? Woo!
I got permission!
This is what my dad said.
Line up.
In 5th grade, they explained to us how sex and all that shit works.
Wait, they told you that there should be shit involved with your sex? I mean, I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum, but that's expert level shit.
They sat us down and they explained human reproduction. And I gotta say, I'm glad they did, because up until that point, I thought it went in the navel. I thought it would, like, stretch out somehow, and...
No!
Yeah. It didn't occur to me that there was a more obvious sort of two potential, like, I could have thought it was the butt. I could have thought it was the vagina. Nope. Thought it was the navel.
Yikes.
Well, it seemed logical because, when a woman gets pregnant, the baby's in the belly. It's not, of course, it's in the uterus, but you don't get that as a kid. So it was like, navel.
I didn't learn about fisting until I was
Wow, they didn't even teach about fisting in my school.
What class was this?
Fisting 101.
I learned about Slash.
A pro seminar on fisting.
Because I was looking on, it was not long after we got, the internet, and I was looking along a fan fiction website, thinking, wow, fan fiction, this is neat. And there's one labeled Slash, and I'm like, huh? Does that mean, super violent or something?
Knives and things, right?
Yeah, I thought it was, a violence warning.
Like a slasher flick.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, this seems like a weird thing to have a violent
I like that you're actively miming using a mouse right now.
Yeah, I'm reading
and even the little scroller wheel and everything.
Yeah, I'm just like...
No clicking on the down arrow for you, I see.
Yeah, it's like...
Did they even have scroll wheels in those days?
They may not have, it's just what I'm used to now. Wow. But yeah, just going through, I was like, wait, oh, that's what slash means. Okay, click. Fair enough.
I once...
You didn't finish it?
No. It was characters I didn't need to see fucking.
Okay.
Well, but it was written.
The worst porn I ever saw was a guy eating a girl's asshole while another guy fisted her. And this is happening for minutes and minutes and minutes. It's so bad. And then the soundtrack starts. Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling.
You're lying, right?
Scrambled egg.
You are lying, I hope. You're just referencing
Tossed salad.
I know.
And scrambled egg.
But there's a part of me that's afraid that really happened. Please tell me that didn't really happen.
It was a Frasier porn bit.
No. I don't know if he's kidding. I hate the internet. I hate that the internet has me not sure if he's kidding.
You could look it up, Chris.
No, I don't want that in the search history. You bastard, give me my phone.
You don't use incognito mode?
It's still...
No, that doesn't matter.
Google still knows.
I don't know what to do with those tossed salad and scrambled eggs. They're gone again. Do.
We specifically recently,
We watched-
in watching scrolling through Netflix, opened up an episode of Frasier and watched
Fast
the end
forward
credits
to the end.
just so Jay could hear the song.
There's got to be an easier way to hear the Frasier
Probably
song.
YouTube. I have one more non sequitur, but it's sort of related to that.
Oh no.
I'm pretty certain we're out of things to say about the child.
We should at least finish up how it ended. So, like, back in the Napster days, I was young and carefree then, and I would download whatever the fuck I wanted. Mostly music, and at one point I went through this really big 80s fan, and as a result, the 80s phase, and as a direct result, on my 16th birthday, I got tickets to go see Billy Idol, because Billy Idol was, like, my favorite.
Cool.
But, as I was, like, using Napster to download stuff, I went from, albums to videos. Sometimes it would have music videos, so I was like, oh yeah, great. So I would download White Wedding, and I'm like, woo! I download Dancing with Myself, great. And then I come across Billy Idol, Flesh for Fantasy, and I'm like, oh yeah, Flesh for Fantasy, great song. So I download that motherfucker, and it downloads 6 days later, and I open it up, and it's definitely two women sucking a dick. And I was like, this is not a Billy Idol.
I mean, I'll watch it,
I've
but-
been-
Oh, Billy.
And I remember I was intrigued, so I did watch for a few minutes. And then I, realized with horror, oh my god, my dad will fucking kill me if he finds out this is on my computer. And I, deleted it and, removed it from the recycle bin and, cleared out the cookies. I was like, oh
Burn
my
down
god.
the house.
Yeah, no, literally.
Moved
I had to
away.
nuke it from orbit to be sure.
Nice.
But yeah, so that was,
Like we
the
should've
first
done with
porn
this
I ever
child.
saw.
Yeah.
That wasn't, Skinamax.
Skinamax.
Good
Those
old
were the days.
Those
were the days.
I was going in a different direction.
Oh.
Those
Were the days, my friend, we thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We'd live the life we'd choose, we'd fight and never lose, for we are young
and sure to have our way. Wow, we really don't want to talk about this episode.
So, long story short, the plague containment carrying unit thing starts to whoop, whoop, whoop. And they're like, oh no, there's some kind of bullshit making it grow all of a sudden.
Making
and
it
if
whoop, whoop, whoop.
and if it gets out of the containment unit, we're all gonna die!
So what?
Why couldn't they blast it into a sun? Because they were talking about, we can't destroy it, and we can't blast it into
it's
space.
so
Because
deadly.
the next time it hits anything else, it'll...
Even the sun.
do you want to risk killing the sun with plasma plague? They need that sun.
So what?
A sun without any planets around it.
What was the? I kind of missed what was going on. That there was somebody that needed this shit.
So
the
some-
Riccioli system.
Yeah, they had
They needed to try to formulate an anecdote.
Yeah.
Antidote, not an anecdote.
The one about.
Well, we need that plasma plague so we can have an interesting story to retell at parties.
Antidote.
But yeah, and that's the whole thing too. Is the way they're talking, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna use this to find a cure." But then at the end, they're like, "Do you think it'll work?" And that random old doctor with the sweet boots is
And
like,
the really bad
"Fuck if I
hair.
know."
Do you
I
see
think
his
he
hair?
didn't just have sweet boots. I think he tucked his pant legs into his boots.
Yeah, but then you could see the boots, and they were sweet.
Was his hair a piece? I hope so.
I don't know.
It was bad.
It was bad, but
Real
I don't
bad.
know.
So, anyway, the thing starts going crazy, and it wasn't even a real issue because luckily the little kid was the one who was causing the problem, and he went, oh, fuck, this is my fault. Gotta go. Bye, Mom.
He
And then
was
just
responsible.
dies. And then Troi is like,
For 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then everyone just leaves, and then she's okay.
yeah.
Her face was wet.
The thing, I know you said this. Everyone was so okay with what was going on.
Yeah.
Again, I'm totally psyched that they were like, yeah, woman's right to choose. That's great. That's a really nice thing. But the fact that no one was even remotely nonplussed by this situation, the doctor's like, oh, it's a perfectly healthy baby boy. Great. And
It just died and turned back into a light switch.
Let's just see where it goes.
I really think the rest of the episode should have involved Worf just following it around with his batleth, just ready. Although at the end he does offer to tuck Wesley in. God knows what that
Oh my
looks
god,
like.
that was so
Why?
great. I loved
The whole
that.
Wesley subplot was annoying, but it
I
gave
don't know,
Guinan something to do.
I kind of liked the scene with Guinan and Wesley.
Yeah, that was actually-
it's
I
one
kind
of.
of
well
felt like
done.
Wesley was trying to seduce her. I feel like Wesley was a little bit in love with her, to be honest.
Well, I
Who
mean,
isn't?
who wouldn't be?
Well, I
Whoopi.
definitely would. Whoopi Goldberg's the best.
Yeah.
She's
Whoopi.
and she's hot young Whoopi in this show too. I was like, fuck yeah, Whoopi,
Yeah.
you look good, girl.
But I do have to ask, Has Whoopi Goldberg ever had eyebrows?
Yes, she shaved them off for a role. I don't remember what the role was, but apparently she shaved them off. And
Roll
you might
to shave your eyebrows off.
something I don't fucking remember.
Theodore Rex.
But the thing is like if you've ever seen a woman with like tragically thin eyebrows, when tragically thin eyebrows are not the style. Unfortunately for women, and well, guys too, I suppose, but if you like spend a lot of time paring your eyebrows down, like waxing or plucking, or even if you don't spend that long doing it, but if you do it, it can never grow back.
Yeah, that's
so
what
I
mine's
think
like.
what happened to her was she like took them off and they just never came back. And that's why like there were time periods when like pencil thin eyebrows were the thing, and the poor bitches who did that, a lot of them are sort of stuck with it. I work with a woman actually who just has these tragically thin eyebrows, and I think it's because she was of the right age.
Glue novelty fake mustaches to your face.
I thought it was apparent that I already do that, Jake. She just think these Groucho Marx mustache eyebrows were my natural brows. They're not even the right color.
Yeah, no, I thought the scene in 10 Forward was surprisingly good.
You know, she was Guinan was
I
great.
think the first time they've shown the warp effect through a window instead of a view screen.
Yeah, I thought that whole effect was pretty cool. Though.
Yeah,
That
like
whole
sort of
sequence.
showing the transition. That was neat. The thing with the light. That scene was actually pretty good.
Thing with the light.
Well,
Yeah, like so
the
as
rape
they
scene.
turn, you see sort of the light
Oh,
shifting.
that light. Never mind.
and-
Not the rape scene.
Oh god.
Jesus.
But yeah, it was a weird. Like they were in a weird place. 'Cause they had to justify Wesley staying when his
But
mother
Beverly
had
leaving,
left.
yeah.
But I
Because
don't
Maurice
wanna
Hurley
go.
didn't like her.
Yeah. So it was strange, but I do love the idea that Worf really just wasn't in on the joke. And that night, Wesley's there and chime at his door. Come in.
I'm here to tuck you in, child.
Get into bed, Ensign. I have brought goodnight moon.
I would pay money to see that. Aw. But yeah, so the child is gone and everything is happy once again.
Yes. I did like Data throughout the episode because he's very interested in witnessing the birth, and then when the child's dying, he just is lingering and looking and like, oh good, I get to watch it die too. I get a 2-for-1 with this thing.
Twofer.
Really, they should introduce that speck of light to fucking face dude, and he could just birth and kill him
fucking-
over and over.
I actually...
Face guy.
Before we move on, this is the one part of the episode I actually did kind of like, is when Riker is like, who's the father? It was just like,
Didn't we just
Ooh.
specify that we don't know
calm
yet?
down. And then when he like creepily watches
Yeah.
her giving birth, like he's just kind of like hiding behind part of a wall, like,
Shouldn't she be able to sense him?
You'd think.
Because he's also like her
She's a little
spirit,
busy, though.
But he's her spirit bond
That's
animal
true.
thing.
I really hope somewhere there's a...
Mine's an eagle.
I really hope there's a blooper reel somewhere of Brent Spiner, like, overreacting as Data to the birth. I just want to see him in character go like, ew. Gross.
It would be.
Tasha's didn't look like that.
yowza.
Oh, you shaved it into a shape.
What?
So the thing
Oh.
is, now I'm thinking about the pubic hair of the Starship Enterprise, and this is, I hope that they've made like a way in the future where there's just a push of a button and you've got your landing strip. Like I really hope.
Topiary.
Well,
Topiary.
I think Mr. Chest Hair at the beginning proves they have not dealt with that.
I
be his
don't.
choice.
I also don't
I
think
mean,
you
we
would
did
use the
see-
same thing on your bush as you would necessarily use on your chest.
We saw a laser razor. Didn't
Yeah,
we?
that Jordy was using.
Can you
Oh,
imagine it would be
yeah.
like laser engraving on your hoo-ha?
Yeah, but it would
You
know
could
where
write-
your skin is.
You could, yeah, but I mean, like, but you could do like
back through.
elaborate messages like roses are red, violets are blue. Get on your knees so I can fuck you or something like that.
Not bad for off the cuff.
Yeah, it was alright. It's not my best, but I'm just saying, like, just think of the possibilities.
I mean, Mr. Chest Hair there could write fucking a sonnet.
Yeah, it's all of proof rock, like.
Speaking of writing sonnets, let's move on to where Silence Has Lease, the title of which comes from a poem, which I looked up.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
it seemed familiar.
The poem is called Really? You've Read The Spell of the Yukon by Robert W. Service?
Is that really what it's called?
Yes.
That's a stupid name for a poem.
I might have.
Is it also the first line of the poem and therefore not a real title?
No,
so someone
it's
actually chose this title because you know how like in poetry books, if the poet hasn't written a name, they'll just use the whole first line sometimes.
I did not think of that, but no.
Okay.
Usually they're called Untitled in that case. But the poem is about searching for gold in the Yukon, and the narrator finding that he loves being on the land more than the gold would ever give to him.
Wow, it's about Scrooge McDuck.
No, Scrooge McDuck. That's why I know it. Scrooge McDuck quotes it at one point.
Oh, but Scrooge McDuck loves gold, so this wouldn't be his poem.
But he
Well,
also,
see, this
no, but
was
he
in his
also
early
loves-
career when he was a sourdough, a gold hunter, a prospector.
Sourdough?
Yeah, it was a slang term for a gold prospector.
Yeah, you got a sourdough here.
Yeah, no, he quotes
Too much
that
yeast.
poem, and that poem is then quoted in a song from a concept album by a Norwegian, Swedish, or something metal band guy,
Tomas
Jalapeno or something.
Jalapeno.
Tomas
who did
Jalapeno's
this
The Life
solo
and Times of Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah. So there's a concept album
It's actually
about
a
Scrooge
super
McDuck.
good album.
Yeah,
There are a couple
that's
of really
why
good
it was
songs.
familiar. It's in
funny.
that song.
Yeah, so the final stanza of the poem is, it's the great big broad land
The Great
way up
Pumpkin,
yonder.
Charlie Brown.
It's the forests where
Start
silence
over, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Just say it again.
It's the great big broad land way up yonder. It's the forests where silence has lease. It's the beauty that thrills me with wonder. It's the stillness that fills me with peace. The question is, what the fuck does that have to do with this episode?
Not a goddamn thing.
I have no idea.
Well,
What the hell?
What was the episode about again?
The episode was about
I watched it this morning. How bad is that?
Big, gigantic blank space in space.
Space.
Where there happens to be a creature machine who, like, keeps throwing... Who treats the Enterprise like a lab rat, basically, to see what it does, and then decides, maybe if I kill half of you, I'll have fun, and learn a thing about how you die. And they're like, yeah, no, let's not do that.
I don't know, something about the journey being more important than the destination and the ever expanding quest for
gold.
And the quest for knowledge, and I don't know, dude.
So is the implication that Scrooge McDuck made his fortune from
Gold prospecting?
from mining and not off the backs of the working
His nephews?
class?
So Scrooge.
I just assumed he was a capitalist fuck.
Well, he
Scrooge
is eventually.
Scrooge is descended from a fallen Scottish noble line. His family, by the time he's born, is broke as fuck. Mostly because they just barely save enough money every year to pay off the taxes on their ancestral home, which is this rotting castle somewhere in Scotland.
Doesn't he have like a copper mine at first or something?
So he finds a copper vein, which he's going to try to exploit into a mine, but he has to rush home because they finally just haven't been able to pay the taxes on the land for long enough. So he sells it for relative pittance.
For the copper vein.
Yeah, and rushes home to pay off the tax bill. And then he starts exploring for a while. He eventually becomes a prospector in the Yukon and finds the goose egg nugget, which is a
Big fucking gold nugget.
the size of my head, and I've got a big fucking head.
He's got a big head.
That's a big
And
nugget.
from there, he sort of uses that as a jumping off point to begin
Enterprises.
He starts some businesses, but he also starts exploring more and finding new treasures. And most of his early fortune is just built via treasure hunting, and these businesses, which are run in his absence by his sisters and brother-in-law, who, that brother-in-law and it's his youngest sister and the brother-in-law are Donald's parents.
And Dahlia, right? What was her name? Dahlia?
Yeah, sorry, Donald and, I think it's Dahlia, his missing sister.
Yeah.
And then Scrooge also has an older sister whose name escapes me, who, as far as I know, never has any offspring.
Wait, so Donald's sister and Donald's girlfriend are both named after flowers?
Oh, Daisy and Dahlia. Yeah, look at you.
Yeah.
And
never thought of that.
Donald Duck's named after a president of the United States.
Yikes.
No.
And Scrooge McDuck is named after...
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah, but Scrooge was his last name.
Yeah, but, I mean, I assume that's the point, though, because Scrooge kind of became...
He's an old miser, yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of... Yes, being a Scrooge is synonymous with being a cheapskate.
Yeah,
and
I mean, he really should be the villain, Scrooge McDuck, don't you think?
he's just too cool, bro.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is, it's interesting because, of course, we're used to DuckTales, which depicts him as
A villain.
a lot friendlier.
Oh.
In the
I
comics,
thought he was a villain for the longest time.
There were those dogs that he's always getting to fight.
The Beagle Boys. In the comics, he actually is like way more sort of like a dick. Although he does really have a great fondness for Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and they are his sole heirs.
I'm going to assume that the Beagle Boys weren't actually, like, they were depicted as like robbers.
They were
thieves. But I'm going to say that they were probably just disgruntled employees. They were looking for a fair wage.
In the comics, they're actually from a long line of criminals who have constantly bothered Scrooge since his youngest days. But I like your version better. So, yeah, so this episode basically, they get stuck in the void. Nothing happens for a while. Then
They go to a ghost ship for a while.
I was saying, they blow up a rock.
The labyrinth ship.
Yeah, that's when things start to look like maybe they get really interesting.
Yeah.
But they only get kind of
I
interesting.
loved Worf in Labyrinth ship.
Oh, yeah, no, that was great.
He gets so pissy.
So mad.
And it's like, oh wow, Worf would hate riddles.
They were trying to, this whole episode, they were trying to set up Worf as like very, like, always on the edge of turning feral.
Yeah,
Which
I thought
really
that too. I was like, why are we doing this?
It was an interesting choice for how to open the episode because it opened as if you're looking and you're thinking like, oh, are they on a away mission? Are they on some planet where something's
Why
going
are they
down?
fighting Skeletor?
Like Picard is actually worried about Riker out there.
I mean, what, did he turn the safeties off?
I don't know.
Well, Worf was going to attack him. I'm sure Worf could have hurt him.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Well, yeah, this is just Worf's exercise routine. The more personal version he won't share with Riker
It's
because
just sex.
yeah, because after he fights the thing, he
after he
has sex
fights
with
Skeletor, instead of like knocking him out, he ends up kissing him.
it. Yeah, good fight.
I like to envision that Klingon foreplay is way more rigorous than their training mission just then. It's good. I'm into that.
But yeah, so and then the scene on the Yamato, which was interestingly given the suffix E, the NCC 1305,
something like that.
I don't know, whatever it was.
Bad
It's-
nerds, bad.
It's older than the Enterprise, and apparently just as storied. If it's got fucking this many versions.
Well, I was very curious about this, so I did a little research myself on the Yamato.
I looked over at him as we were watching the episode. I was like, what the fuck are you reading on your phone? Watch the episode. He's like, no, I'm looking up the Yamato.
I'm upset about the Yamato.
Well, because doesn't it change its prefix at some point? Not its prefix.
It does. And so the next time it appears, it has a different number. And I think we'll see it. I think it's this season that we see it again. But it also, like, I guess, according to Memory Alpha, it was a production error that the writer of this episode didn't know about, like, the numbering schemes.
Oh,
so he assumed that it was like
There was always
NCC number dash letter.
Oh, like a license plate or something.
Yeah.
That's too bad. I mean, I kind of wish they kept it, if only because, like, it does show this idea that maybe there are other ships that had crews that did enough crazy shit. They were like, we're just going to have a bunch of these.
They're all Kirk's old ships.
Yeah.
Also, I kind of wondered, did you come across this? Was it always going to be Galaxy class?
The Yamato?
Yeah.
Well, I know...
I assume it would have to be, and because the easy answer is because it allows you to use the same bridge set.
Right, which is what I was thinking, but the only reason I was confused was because Worf is like, oh yes, I'm familiar with the Yamato. It's like, yeah, it's a Galaxy-class ship.
Yeah,
Everyone
it looks just like yours
on the Enterprise is
except it has
familiar.
like 15 bridges.
Yes.
I like that. That
It
was
just
cool.
seemed-
One Riker, one bridge.
Well, it's interesting, too, because he mentions earlier that, like, part of the reason he's freaked out is because it reminds him of this Klingon legend about a spot in space that eats ships. And assuming that the
Space
Klingons, have encountered this thing before, they weren't happy before they probably all died. Because, Klingons, like you said, I think Klingons in general probably don't like riddles.
No, Ames said that.
Aim, sorry.
Credit where it's due, boy.
What, do we all just look the same to you?
Yes.
Fair.
Riddles, probably they don't like jigsaw puzzles, I'd imagine. The jungle.
What about
Rubik's
Sudoku?
Cube.
No, God, no.
Yeah,
No.
that involves, like, knowing the numbers.
Oh,
Yikes.
Bet those motherfuckers would love Doom, though.
I like Doom.
Doom like the video game Doom?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, you know what? They'd be sitting there and they're like, it's alright. And then someone shows them a modded version where it's all melee. And they're like, yeah.
It would be great if they were doing, like, the calisthenics exercise, and Worf is like, hold on, Riker, I need to turn on the soundtrack, and he's here.
Is that Doom?
That's the song from Doom.
Oh, okay. I never played Doom
You just
myself.
play on loop forever and ever and ever. You know what video game had really great music was Corridor 7.
Never heard of that.
There are days that I just go on YouTube and look up like people playing Corridor 7 and listen to the music.
You might be able to even just find the soundtrack on YouTube.
Well, I'm lazy and don't care that much.
Fair. But yeah, it's like the episode looked like it was gonna get really interesting, and then it only got moderately interesting and just kind of stayed there.
Yeah, it had some interesting stuff, and I think the problem was kind of they didn't know what to do with Nagalum,
Yeah.
which is Mulligan backwards, but without missing an L. It was named after some guy named something Richard Mulligan or something.
Oh, okay. I thought they were naming it after the fucking golf term.
I thought it was Nagilum. They kept
Oh,
saying
Nagilum. Yes, that's what
because I kept thinking it was that
Yeah, I made that reference last night.
I was like,
Because I didn't realize...
is this guy like a guest at a wedding?
I never
What's going
realized
on?
it was Nagilum. I thought it was Nagila, which is
Oh,
why
yeah,
I made the
Nagila.
joke I made, because... Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty weak sauce that he was like, I took all this effort to look like you. It's like, ooh, you did not do well.
You look like Troy's placenta.
He eventually, Nagilum, walks into Picard's office as Troi and sends another himself in as Data. So clearly he can figure out how to look like people.
Yeah.
Yet in the last scene where he appears on a monitor, he still
preferred-
looks like a fucking blue face.
Preferred to look like the Wizard of Oz.
I did
like a flat seal.
He looked like
I could
he
see
looked
it.
like that.
From a rose.
He looked like that really ugly fish. You know that fish?
Oh, the
That
blobfish?
Blobfish.
Blobfish are
He
adorable.
looked
That
like a
baby from the
blobfish.
child?
Yes.
So, like, the thing with these episodes that's interesting is they both sort of have this idea of a non-human life form wanting to experience humanity.
Yeah.
But one
Yeah.
wants to do it by becoming human in a stupid way.
And then killing itself.
Yeah, and the other one wants to do it by observing humans like a lab experiment.
Solving rat mazes.
And
But
then
mostly
giving them-
how they die.
Yeah, giving them aneurysms, which is what I assume happened to Ben.
Hartley, no.
I also like
There was
that.
an H in it.
Yeah.
Also liked how quickly the alien the face of Oh No,
Thank you.
decided that it would take roughly 1/3 to half of the crew to do all the deaths. Like,
Can you imagine the guy gets like everyone gets a different death, and one the guy's like, "Why do I have to have pyramid jammed up the anus death?" What did you
what
get?
else
I
is-
got quick and painless. Fuck!
what else is on the list? Acme Anvil, all right? Like,
Wait,
Tetanus.
you really need anvil and piano? Come on!
and safe. Don't forget safe.
Don't forget safe.
But
Air conditioner.
Tripping on bowling balls that have been released from a crate? Come
Oh, I hope I get the list. How many people get fucked to death by Data?
just me.
Run over by a steamroller.
Damn it.
Ma'am.
No!
Oh, no. I was
don't
waiting
know
for you
what
to do your Judge Doom impression.
My Judge Doom impression?
Just like this!
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much.
That's not what he says when he's run over by the
No,
steam.
No,
it's
but
true. He
afterwards.
goes, but God, when he comes back and he's all springy,
Yeah.
not just
And then-
any tune.
And like the
Those
soundtrack
horrifying
at that
eyes.
point is interesting.
That
too.
Good fucking
fucking
movie.
traumatized me as a kid.
Love
I
that
was like, which was so
Love it.
sad because I love it now. It still creeps me out a little. But when I was a kid, I loved the rest of the movie so much, and then I would get to that part and just be sitting there like,
So yeah, there's that link, and I feel like neither episode did its job well. Because like I said, it just sort of devolved into, they needed to make Nagilum an antagonist, so...
I feel like Trelane. I feel like Q and Trelane like play with their
food.
Yeah, they play with their pets better than these assholes.
I
did.
literally was like, oh my God, is this like Trelane? And Chris is like, no. And I was like, oh, is it Q? He's like, I don't think so.
There would be Q in the title if it was a Q episode.
That's true.
We always
Whereas-
know when it's Q.
When Q holds lease or whatever.
When the
Yeah.
cue breaks.
Yeah. But yeah, like, they wanted this guy to be sort of this amoral sort of thing, and it was
He
just
just
like...
doesn't have value for human life.
Which
he,
is
he looks at them
fine,
like
but-
we probably look at ants. Be
Yeah.
like, I wonder if we can crush this one, set this one on fire, drown this one,
Drop
we can
an
do
anvil
this.
on this one.
Like, it was almost in a way
Piano.
you could try to read it as a statement on, animal experimentation, but it just kind of fails because it's so
I
poorly
didn't read
done.
that at all.
Well, you could. I didn't either till right now, but
Well, you're wrong.
probably.
Yeah, I thought the alternate ship was cool. We got a self-destruct.
Again.
Code
With
1,
20 minutes.
Oh my
1A, 2B.
And I loved that moment where they both stop and they're like,
They didn't
how
have-
long do you think?
They
like,
didn't have that on
what's a-
11001001.
No, because Picard already knew exactly how long he wanted.
Oh,
What's,
is that what it
what's
was?
a good number? I don't know, 20. 20 is a good
My
number.
question
How long
was-
do you need to say goodbye to people
Well,
and
how-
accept that you're going to die? 20 minutes sounds
How long does
good.
it take to form a line and have Data fuck everyone to death before we just roll the ship?
See, when it was with
20 minutes.
Riker, it was like 20 minutes. I could probably crack one out, have a sandwich, and crack another one out. Yeah,
Maybe,
20 minutes.
maybe hit on Troi a little.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to have time for that. He's got 2 cums and a sandwich. There's no time for Troi.
Yeah, and it's interesting that, like, the ship is literally going to blow up in 20 minutes, and, like, Picard's like, I'm just going to chill in my quarters and listen to music.
Everyone else is still on duty.
Yeah, everyone else is just still working on the bridge, and they're like, where's the captain? Oh, you know,
I have to work up till the
he's
last
going to
second.
do a wank and a nap, and then...
And then another wank.
I mean, I guess it's good that he was alone so that he could be visited by the
Ghosts of Christmas past.
future.
Ghosts of
Self-
Nagilam's balls. I don't know.
That was
Yet to come?
the discussion about death was, I thought, fairly interesting.
So did poor bridge guy
Haskell.
was he the only casualty of
Yep.
I kept hoping to be like Nagilam would be like, yeah, well, okay, cool. It was really just a test. By the way, here's your buddy back.
Yeah,
I fixed him."
Nomad had the righteousness to do that.
Yeah. That's always kind of, like, it seemed like maybe it was going to be, when he first opens the portal when Riker and Worf are still on the fake Yamato. It's like, oh, he's going to see if they're going to fuck off without getting their friends back. And that's going to be part of the, nope, you're really just a complete weirdo.
Poor Haskell. It was so sad, and he did it really well.
Yeah.
I
was
felt like that was
scary.
a really good death scene.
There was a weird thing when Nagilam was like, "You are constructed differently,"
Oh,
and
God,
then
that,
Pulaski does that little
like a
ballet
weird
dance.
Well, no, it's because he, forced... I feel like he was,
He was light raping her.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was,
happened with
feeling
Troi.
her up to be like, what's up with this? That's
Well,
what
yeah,
I
no,
thought
obviously
it
he was manipulating her, but it was
Now
still
she's
still
pregnant.
looked weird.
Well, and again, I think probably he kind of goosed her privates because he was confused by the fact that they weren't the same as everybody else's.
But also,
That was my
Troi
read. Is
was
that your
also
read?
on the bridge at that
Yeah,
time.
that's what I
so...
said. And also, like,
So he must have a thing for mature.
you think he would have
like
commented
Ben
on...
Franklin.
You think he would have commented on,
There's a thing for Ben Franklin?
Yes.
Who
doesn't?
Ben Franklin does kind of look like a mature woman, doesn't he? Just picture him in your head. He looks like a 90-year-old lady. I don't know.
No,
But
I'm saying
what's
nine.
really bizarre is, so he comments, oh, you're constructed differently, you're different. No mention of Worf, who's also right there, in a completely different species.
Yeah, well,
He's just
that's
like
true.
a- like
Well,
a-
it's got a dick. Must be the same as the other ones.
It's not like, Spock has extra organ and shit.
no, but they are
15
shuffled around
15
inside.
eyelids.
And what, Klingons have a bunch of redundant stuff, don't
Do
they?
they?
I mean, that hasn't been
I think they have, like,
established
2
yet.
hearts
but-
or something.
I think two...
Discovery made it sound like they have
Because
more
he breaks his spine.
more organs than
Yeah.
sexual organs than people.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was interesting because I know the director struggled a lot with this episode because it's a bottle episode and 90% of it takes place on the bridge.
Yeah.
So it was him. They're just working for 5 days straight just on the bridge set. And he's like, okay, how about we put the camera here this time and do it like this?
All
and it was
bridge and no space makes whoever directed this shit something.
Yeah, so he just found all these, and every so often I'd notice, oh, he did a camera thing there to try to make it look interesting. 'Cause there's only so many ways to make the bridge look interesting when there's nothing else to shoot.
You did get a great look at that horrible carpet.
I got nothing for that.
They took Wesley off the bridge. That made it more interesting.
Yeah, I wish they'd given a reason for, why he suddenly wasn't there.
Not
beyond...
just because we're gonna kill somebody
Yeah.
who you've never seen before.
I mean, I'm guessing, well, yes, but in-universe explanation, he's still technically supposed to be going to school, I think. So probably-
Isn't
it's like
Riker his teacher, though?
It's like a part-time job.
I posited that it was his nap time.
But there's no Worf to tuck him in! Worf is away!
I'm imagining Wesley was in that little cage playing with the puppies at that time.
That's where I'd be.
Aw.
Yeah, and maybe it's just when shit gets real, it's like, go away, kid, we're gonna bring in someone else.
They made a comment. I'm going to go back to the child with the puppies for a second because I have to.
Yeah.
Because puppies.
They were awfully cute.
There was a comment where baby Ian fuckhead was talking about, oh yeah, you enjoy the puppies while they last before they go. And like, where are they gonna go? You're on a ship.
Well,
Well,
this show was like 30 years ago, so there's a good chance the puppies aren't around anymore.
Well, yeah, but it's not like he was talking like next week there aren't going to be puppies here to play with.
well, because they'll be grown.
Is
bigger.
it maybe because he thinks that because
Puppies
he
don't
grows so
grow in a
quickly
week.
that the puppies will grow really fast? Also, I find it really hard to imagine that Picard had never played with puppies before. What kind of horrible life did you live?
He lived on a vineyard with his grumpy brother.
France. He lived in France.
They have no dogs in France?
I don't think so.
There are no cats in America.
No dogs. And the streets are paved with cheese. That's a great movie.
That is a great movie.
I could see little Picard being just as uptight as adult Picard, though, and just like all the other small friends. Jean-Luc, they have opened puppies today! And he's like, no, I am too busy studying. Oh. Sorry, wait. I'm too busy studying. Oh.
Oh.
Something, dead language, something.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
The people in Star Trek actually speaking English? Like, yes, clearly they are speaking English, so we
They
understand.
make a lot of puns that would only work in English.
Well, that, I mean...
The sun thing from Fred and fucking Circuses.
But, yes, okay, I accept that. I'm just wondering, because, like, in, like... Not to compare franchises, but in Star Wars, they're not really speaking English. They're speaking, like...
Basic is the
Yeah.
main language.
Like
are
bitches.
It's called Basic.
It's called Basic, and the alphabet is called, I think, Orabesh.
I hate them.
Yoda is always like getting his pumpkin spice lattes.
Yeah.
Wearing his Ugg boots and his little North Face jacket.
But yeah, the
I
default...
would pay money for someone to draw a picture of Yoda wearing Uggs, a North Face, and sipping a pumpkin spice latte.
But yeah, the default language of the Republic is Basic, and by extension the Empire. The Outer Rim, because it's controlled largely by Hutt gangsters, the default language is Huttese. But most people also know
Huttese.
Basic.
You can control my outer ring.
Rim.
Rim.
Oh my.
Job.
But yeah.
Oh, that's an anus.
This
Your anus has
these
rings.
episodes were anus.
I'm also meant to mention in The Child, because there's nothing left to say about where Silence Has Lease, I don't think. In a deleted scene, they told you what Data's full name is. And his full name is NFN NMI Data, which stands for no first name, no middle initial.
So fun fact,
I don't like these. I don't like fun.
this is actually similar to something that actually happens. Because certain cultures, certain countries, a person might not have two names.
Yeah.
So what we find in the school I work at, one of three things happens. And I don't know how they decide this when the kid gets here, but when they get their visa to study here, they either double up their names. So it would be like...
Madonna.
Yeah. Or they either become, to use your example, Fnu Madonna or Madonna Lnu. FNU being first name unknown. Lnu being last name unknown. So that's actually a thing that happens in this country to immigrants.
And we get NMI too, no middle initial. So
Oh,
that comes
I've
up sometimes.
I've actually
Well, I
seen
mean,
that
I don't
one.
think it's ever come through as part of someone's, like, on their ID.
Ah, yeah.
But people will use NMI for when there's NMI.
I know that when immigrants come to America that don't know their birth date, that more often than not they're automatically given January 1st.
Yeah.
Which for
That's
the
what I
longest
would've
time
assumed.
made me assume that one of my friends who likes to crack wise all the time and would be someone who would know this kind of thing, but his birthday is January 1st, and I assumed for the longest time that he was lying.
Yeah.
Which really it was me being an asshole, assuming he was being a bigger asshole.
Yeah.
You think, I mean, I know it never really comes up, but technically if he wanted, couldn't he be Data Soom?
I don't.
Data who?
Soon. After
His creator.
Soon.
Oh.
No, I'm Dr. Soom. He's Soom's
But
monster.
I cannot imagine. I mean, first of all, I
Please,
cannot
my father
imagine
is Mr. Soon.
that the Starfleet personnel database system doesn't have a check. Doesn't accommodate people with one names.
Like, the Vulcans.
Yeah, as I say, because the Vulcans are members.
Don't they have a full name, though. You
Spock's
just can't
first
pronounce
name.
it.
Spock's first name is Mister. Have you know?
Yeah, but
Is that true that they have first names?
He mentioned in This Side of Paradise
That's
when
right.
that
He has
chick
a
who
full
was super
name.
thirsty for him was like, "What's your first name, Spock?" And he's like, "You couldn't pronounce it with your stupid human mouth."
I don't know if she
Put
specifies.
your human mouth on me, though.
I don't know if she specifies first name, but his full name.
I don't remember.
And actually, I think Amanda also mentions like she can just about say their last name now. So yeah, you're right. Falcons do it, but I'm sure there's some culture they'll encounter that they only have one name.
You wouldn't be able to pronounce it. It's quite a mouthful. Speaking of quite a mouthful.
But yes, you think like
I mean, Worf's full name is Worf, son of what's his fuck?
Moog.
Moog.
yeah, I don't. They're just. It was a disappointing week. Like the child.
Troy had nice PJs.
Yeah, the child was just terrible.
Yeah,
like,
she did. They were kind of meshy or
absolutely-
something. I
They're
like
pretty
it.
color too.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. And then, in the long tradition of Star Trek, like Silence Has Lease, decent idea, middling execution, nonsensical title.
Yeah, I like the double bridges.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of fun.
Jeff and Lloyd.
God damn it!
Sorry. Jake us out!
No,
Please leave that in.
you can't do it 3 episodes in a row.
What?
What?
Jake us out?
No,
No, that's my new thing.
it shouldn't be your new thing.
Oh,
I was actually about to break this bottle.
She's gonna fucking cut you, Essie.
When I
Holy
get angry,
shit.
I throw and break things. And I'm
All right, I
just
get it
very
better. I get it
tempted.
better. Jake us away. All right. Anyway.
That's right, kill Chris.
All right.
Then
So
who's gonna
anyway,
edit?
well, let's do a proper Jake off.
Oh, Chris almost got a nose full of sody
Stop
pop.
jaking off. Oh God,
man.
not at the table.
Stop jaking around.
All right. Okay. Well, folks, this has been a Star to Steer Her By, we think.
Kinda.
Ish.
In a way.
Hey, you got the title right.
I did get the title right. I try that.
SoundCloud.
Next week, we'll be talking about 2 additional Star Trek episodes. The Elementary Dear Data.
Woo!
Did I put a V in there?
No, I just said it.
Oh, you're just an idiot.
Elementary Dear Data.
You know, like the diabetes or the cancer.
Which is a holodeck episode. And the outrageous Okona! Whoa, 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 whoa!
Okay.
Wherein Star Trek tries to create a Han Solo character and fails
no.
horribly.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Is he scruffy looking?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
And he's a nerve
Nerf
herder.
herder?
Nerf herder?
Nerf herder.
I thought it was nerve herder.
No, it's Nerf herder. A Nerf is some sort of like cattle-like creature.
And they herd them.
Is that like a retcon?
No, that is
That's
actually
like,
what.
Carrie Fisher pronounced the word nerve wrong. And
No, it was supposed. It was written as Nerf. Like you, I for years thought it was Nerve Herter.
Yeah.
But no,
Really?
yeah.
You thought it was nerve herder?
He thought
my-
it went in the belly.
You hurt
button.
my
Yeah.
So
feelings.
what did you think? Like she had a stroke before she
Well,
delivered
no, it
that
just,
line?
I thought George
I thought it was like
Lucas
some
was.
shitty
Was
writing.
were her dentures slipping out of her mouth?
Listen, it's more likely that
George
Star Wars
Lucas
had stupid writing
Than Nerf herder, but
than,
yeah.
than just made up
I
bullshit.
like literally ever having known what a nerf was, never questioned that it was definitely nerf herder.
Ditto.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no, I was
don't know what
with you,
happened
though,
to
Jake.
you boys.
All right, well,
I
this
just
is
thought
nerfs.
George Lucas was trying to make
Was this like-
you
was-
hurt my feelings sound spacey.
Was this like a product placement tie-in with the foam football guys?
Probably before nerf existed in that capacity, but I don't know.
Anyway,
Also, like nerve herder just sort of sounds like she's really bad at comebacks.
right, but again,
Yeah,
this
you
is
nerve herder.
this is
Well, yeah,
George
that's like-
Lucas, the man behind
Yeah.
the infamous "I hate sand" monologue.
The guy who made all of Star Wars, and there's a lot of shitty writing and stuff. Like, I like Star Wars, we've
Yeah,
talked
yeah.
about this, but it's written very
A lot of the dialogue is fucking
really
terrible,
bad. Really bad.
even in the good ones.
You know, I've never seen the sand monologue.
I know, but you've heard of it.
It's in the worst movie of all time.
I haven't seen it.
Star Trek 2?
I
mean, Star Wars 2?
Star Wars 2,
How
The
dare
Wrath
you.
of Khan.
Yes.
Anyway, as I said, next
Attack
time we'll
of
be
the
doing
Khan.
Elementary Dear Data and the Outrageous Okona, 2 wonderful episodes of Star Trek.
Tell us how you really feel, Jake.
I said they were wonderful. Until then, we will be taking a week off.
No, you
I
won't.
mean, the time between
There
today
will be a week between today and the next
and
episode.
the next episode.
Good job, Jake.
I don't know what the fuck that meant. That was terrible. We'll be taking 6 days off.
10 to the hour, every hour.
You got me all discombobulated here. We're not taking a week off. We will be here next week with the outrageous Alcona
God fucking damn it!
and Elementary Dear Dana.
We're talking in circles now.
Elementary Dear Dana.
Oh no, there's too many outros. Nothing but outros in one Riker.
One Riker! One outro!
Okay.
All right.
We are, of course, A Star to Steer Her By. You can find us on Facebook.
Woo!
Facebook. Search for thestartosteerherby.com. A Star to Steer Her By.
Yikes.
Drunk. You've been having your mint juleps again.
Who let Doc in here?
You've been hitting
You
the
can
gin
also
and gin
find
again.
us on Twitter and Tumblr at SSHB Podcast. You can find us on iTunes and Apple and Google, Android, Motorola, Razr.
Skywriting.
The LGNV.
You can get us on Nextel StarTAC.
Live journal.
9X, AT&T.
The Huawei Mate 10.
Bell Atlantic.
On some Tamagotchis.
MCI.
MCI.
MCI?
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
it was...
With the pin and Candace Bergen.
yes!
Murphy Brown.
I was trying to indicate the hair
Yeah.
for Murphy Brown.
I thought that was
Great,
Andorian Deedly Bops.
No.
I thought Jake was I'm going crazy.
Singular.
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 I think
You're
it was
right.
just singular.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that was
singular.
Girl from Halloween.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
This outro will never end.
No.
No, it won't.
Just like Lord of
so
the
you can
Rings.
find us on all of those platforms and more.
SoundCloud.
And SoundCloud.com/A Star to Steer Her By.
Probably.
I don't fucking know how it works. Just type some shit. Go to Google, search for us. Star Trek, StarToSteerHerBy.com. You'll get it.
Actually, it's kind of hard to find us still, but
Is it hard to find us?
yeah.
Well, also
Oh.
because we don't have a domain called thestartosteerherby.com.
Well, we should make that up.
We should.
You should see if fisting.com is available to
I'm
make that
sure
up.
it's
certain
not.
it is.
Yes.
I'm sure it's not available.
Yes.
Look it
I
up.
scooped that up years ago.
How about A Star to Steer Her dot
Bye.
by?
No,
That would be very regular features
because
on us.
we listened to a podcast that did something like that.
Who cares? Let's do it. That's fucking
And
great.
they were like, we thought it was clever, but now it makes it really hard to tell people our URL.
Oh.
I mean, we're having trouble now, and we don't even have one, so might as well
How
just go
about
for it.
podcast dot A Star to Steer Her By? All one word at the end.
.com.
No com.
Just
that.
a star to steer.
Oh, that would be fucking great.
I'm sure we can get ICANN to issue us a
Oh,
top-level
sure.
domain.
Sure,
I think
yeah.
they just... I saw one recently that was like .today. Fucking hell. Jesus. Oh, is there anything else? Rate us. Give us 5 stars. Give us 4 stars. Do whatever you want. I'm not your mom. Jesus. Write a review. And here's a black cat.
Hey, Black Cat.
Oh, he's like, get this over with.
Yeah, Black Cat just wants to kill Chris.
Oh, he's a good boy.
Eat his flesh.
He knows who to kill. All right. My name is Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
And this is always Caitlin.
Oh, baby, I hear the blues are calling. Toss sandwiches, scrambled eggs.
Quite stylish.
Goodbye, Seattle. We love you.
It's just Caitlin laughing now. You can hit it.
Do you ever hear about the Lost DuckTales episodes?
What?
There's
Are you
like
full of shit right now?
No. This was. I remember reading about this like years ago. I figured you would have heard about it.
I'm still kind of new at learning about all this.
Oh. Yeah, apparently when they were doing the original run of the show in the 80s, 90s, I don't know.
I think it was
Late 80s, early
Late
80s.
80s.
Yeah,
The,
there was
the
some
era
overlap.
we're in right now, really.
Yeah, well, apparently there were some episodes that never made it to air. And I can only remember... I remember a couple of them. One that really stuck with me, there was one where... Who was the... Not... There was a female...
Webigail.
Was she a duck that was a female duck?
Well,
Also a child.
well, a child.
No.
Magic
Adult,
and Dispel.
Adult. Maybe?
Magic and Dispel?
But
or
she was
the
because she was the
maid.
villain, right?
She was a
He
villain.
She was a
Villain,
villain. Yeah, okay. Then it must have been her. Where she had eggs. Do you remember? She had eggs, and Huey and Dewey and Louie like stole them or like they were doing some mischief, and they got the eggs. They brought them to the mechanic. Who's that guy?
Gyro
Gearloose.
Or wait, do you mean the inventor or do you mean Launchpad? The pilot.
Launchpad.
I think it was the pilot. I think it was like they needed. It was like ingredients for food. I don't fucking remember. I was just reading this on Reddit. Anyway, they put the wrong eggs into the food.
Oh no.
Yeah, and they were trying to make some kind of they were trying to replace the egg, and like it got ruled like it was too risque. Like it was
cannibalism.
The impression that they were murdered the woman and ate and fed to other people.
So it's Titus and Don.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I think that was the thing. Although, you'd think it would have had an interesting title, but I think if I remember right, the title
was called Tossed Salads and Scrambled
Eggs.
Oh,
you ruined my joke, you bitch! You bitch! There was so much setup for a tossed salads and scrambled eggs joke.
So it was fake.
Damn it! Fuck it, I'm doing it anyway. Maybe I am to call it tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
I feel so bad. I didn't realize.
Oh, it's okay.
We were like, yeah. We were so
How did
invested.
you not realize it was a setup to toss?
Well, I guess I sort of did.
Man, that's gonna be my new thing. I'm gonna try to trick you guys into listening to a story that ends in tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
Jake, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
This is big DuckTales corner.
That was so good.